Healthy milk comes from humans.
Baby wants the boobie again. According to a friend of mine, this is one of the most commonly used phrases in her breastfeeding household of 4 children. I'm sure many mothers would say the same. However, something happened which began in the late 1800s. It was the popularization and trend of formula feeding from a bottle when this product was first made commercially available to the general public. Manufacturers began to promote their brand of formula as the modern and better way to nourish your infant or toddler. Now think about it, ladies. Even though healthy mothers had perfect milk on demand anywhere they went without any preparation needed, we decided to go with the rising trend of formula feeding from a bottle? Why would anyone do this if a superior and coincidentally more convenient method is right in front of us? Or should I say, right below our eyes? So everyone, welcome to our topic today, the much debated act of breastfeeding versus bottle feeding. I'm here to bring awareness to women around the world as to why breastfeeding is a much more beneficial way of nourishing your infant or toddler. In this presentation, my goal is to inform and motivate women to choose breastfeeding and to help spread the word that bottle feeding is simply not as advantageous from a physical and mental health standpoint. Today, I will also review why it is important to make use of our own natural resources for the health and safety of our offspring, as well as the environment in which our children will reside. First of all, there are far more physical health advantages for both infant and mother with breastfeeding, and many more avoidable disadvantages and even dangers to using formula. The research is out there when you look, showing the advantages for infants in terms of both physical development and physiological health. So, looking at the research, children who are breastfed are far more likely to both gain and maintain appropriate body weight, which is extremely important, as we all know. Weight gain is facilitated as breast milk helps digestion, as opposed to formula, which can often cause problems in a tiny infant's little body. For example, formula has been linked to diarrhea and constipation, both not fun for your little one. Not only does it promote a healthy weight in infancy, breast milk also leads to appropriate weight in later childhood. Studies have shown that obesity in childhood can be avoided by choosing to breastfeed. So let's take a look at this graph here that shows the rising obesity rates amongst children from 1971 to 2006. Now, as you can see, the rates have gone up drastically over the years, and this is terrible for these children. If there's something that we can do to avoid this, then we should definitely do that, which would be the simple act of breastfeeding. Secondly, breast milk assists in the development of a strong immune system, which reduces the risk of illness throughout life. Those antibodies found in breast milk which fight infection and disease simply cannot be found in formula. Statistics show that breastfed children are generally sick less often. The fact that breast milk is guaranteed to be fresh and 100% free of bacteria reduces the risk of infection as well. In terms of disease, the likelihood of developing childhood cancer is also greatly diminished with children who are breastfed. The avoidable dangers and disadvantages associated with bottle feeding are highly prevalent. In 2008, Health Canada declared BPA, a chemical used to make plastic bottles and formula packaging, a toxic and dangerous substance, while BPA has now been banned from all Canadian baby products. This type of corporate oversight is not uncommon. BPA was used in baby products for years, and no one knew how dangerous it was. What will we find out next? Corporations have been known to place money-making motives over the health of their consumers. They don't care about you or your child as long as they're making money. They'll say anything to make their products seem safe and wonderful. Why risk this type of avoidable danger if a safe alternative is available? For the mother, breastfeeding should be the obvious choice when looking at the research. Again, the risk of cancer is greatly reduced, including breast cancer, cancer of the uterus, and ovaries. Diseases such as osteoporosis and cardiovascular disease are far less likely to manifest as well. The act of breastfeeding also helps the uterus to deflate after birth and burns up to 600 calories a day, helping mothers go back to their original weight faster. Isn't that incredible? I mean, that's equivalent to a lengthy and intense workout at the gym. However, many people believe that these health benefits can still be achieved through pumping breast milk into a bottle. While there is some truth to this, it fails to take into account the fact that health extends beyond the mere physical. We have to consider the psychological and mental health consequences of this practice. The psychological and mental health benefits of breastfeeding support cognitive development in children, in addition to parent-child bonding, which is also linked to feelings of satisfaction for both. Some studies have even shown that exclusively breastfed babies have higher IQs, which shows a link between breast milk and enhanced cognitive development in the brain. Now let's take a look at this bar graph here, which compares non-breastfed babies to children who are breastfed. And it shows here the test scores, IQ test scores of children who are not breastfed, and as you can see this is quite low, and the longer they are breastfed, the higher the IQ score seems to get. So there you are. The act of breastfeeding without a doubt creates a very intimate bonding experience between mother and child, crucial for a connected growing relationship. With bottle feeding, these psychological benefits can simply not be achieved in the same way. The act of skin-on-skin touch and closeness is naturally and instinctually what an infant needs and is what they are looking for as well. The emotional need to be rocked, feel mouth-on-skin contact and comfort is just as important for healthy psychological growth and to form a secure emotional attachment to the mother. If the mother is in a healthy mental state herself, she should also feel a strong need to give us affection in order to feel bonded and in tune with her child's needs. Not surprisingly, this has been linked to feelings of parental satisfaction and confidence in a mother's ability to care for her child. Another very interesting fact is that breastfeeding releases the hormones oxytocin and prolactin. These hormones promote bonding, and they also have a calming and pleasurable effect on the mother's mood. Studies have even shown that mothers who release these hormones through breastfeeding are more tolerant and less aggravated, generally speaking. In fact, oxytocin is actually the same hormone that's released during sex in women, which produces the feeling of emotional attachment as well as stress relief, perhaps being nature's secret way of keeping families together, perhaps. Knowing this, it would not be surprising that the popularization of bottle feeding may have something to do with more and more families breaking up in our world today. Again, the physical benefits of breastfeeding are often linked to mental health, as this practice helps mothers lose weight faster. This in itself can improve overall confidence and sense of well-being, which makes the parenting process more enjoyable and less stressful, as most mothers I think would agree. The mental health benefits that I've just discussed throughout this section cannot be achieved with bottle feeding. Think about this. Mothers do not have to be bothered with traveling to the nearest store in order to purchase and prepare expensive and time-consuming formula. For most women, their own milk is easily and conveniently accessible. In my last point of this presentation, I will discuss the several economic and environmental benefits to the practice of breastfeeding. Although it may seem less obvious, there are several economic and environmental advantages here. Since bottle-fed children are more likely to develop compromised immunities, this in turn leads to frequent sickness, which forces parents to miss work on a more regular basis. Due to the antibodies and optimal nutrition found in human milk, breastfed infants are generally healthier. Therefore, parents who breastfeed will have the time and the peace of mind to dedicate their attention towards economic production. Also, the vast amount of chemicals released into the atmosphere due to the production of bottles and formula could be greatly reduced through an increase in breastfeeding. Not only are these chemicals harmful for humans, young and old, they are having a detrimental impact on our planet's ecosystem. Extensive research has shown the harmful effects of chemicals such as BPA, which are seeping into our water and plant systems. Here's a video clip on this issue. Take a look.
It's like something out of science fiction. Unsettling transformations are sweeping across the planet. And clue by clue, investigators are assembling a new picture of Earth. They suspect we've entered a time of faster global change than any human being has ever witnessed. But we can rise to the challenge. Alter the course. It's up to all of us to confront these strange days on planet Earth. Each of us now produce more than 1,500 pounds of trash a year, and the fraction that's plastic is going nowhere but up. If enough of us change what we do in simple ways, we can reduce the threat plastic poses to the ocean. Still, when it comes to plastic, out of sight shouldn't mean out of mind. Fred Wamsall of the University of Missouri and Don Tillett of the U.S. Geological Survey live and work in the nation's heartland. Alarmed by rising numbers of wild animals found with bizarre developmental and reproductive problems, they've joined a national effort to find the cause. The prime suspects include pesticides, the residue of birth control pills and other drugs in treated wastewater, and the compound found in many familiar plastics, bisphenol A.
The problem with chemicals such as bisphenol A is it breaks out of the plastic and leaches into water.
Studies show that from water, this chemical can get into animals, and there it can act like a dose of the female sex hormone estrogen. Too much estrogen can disrupt the endocrine system, and that's been linked to a wide range of health impacts, including gender bending. One critical unanswered question is at what level of exposure these effects occur. With bisphenol A, we're talking about extremely small quantities of this chemical getting into the environment. Samples drawn from this stream had only 30 parts per trillion. Wamsall is worried because studies show tiny amounts of bisphenol A can derail early cell development in mice. And if mice are vulnerable, might people be as well? Recently, Wamsall tested clear plastic baby bottles to see if they release bisphenol A. He devised the simplest of experiments. Let distilled water sit in brand new bottles for 24 hours and then test it. Every one released bisphenol A. Curious, he then decided to see what happens when the same baby bottles are run through an ordinary dishwasher, which heats them to 140 degrees.
Some of these bottles, by the time we had washed them 10 times, were leaching 10 times more bisphenol A than they had before they had been washed.
The plastics industry vigorously disputes any danger to children from the chemical. They cite the continued blessing of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. But the Japanese are cutting back in their use of bisphenol A, and recent independent studies have motivated the FDA to take a fresh look.
Now, after seeing that, ask yourself this question. If a choice is available, why would any mother willingly be a consumer of a substance that not only bears the potential to physically harm your child, but also the world in which your offspring will reside? Ladies, nature has provided us with our own safe and beneficial form of nourishment. Rejecting this gift means willingly compromising the physical, psychological, and economic well-being of mother, child, and the environment in which we live. The advantages of breastfeeding that I have discussed here clearly outweigh the many disadvantages of bottle feeding. Therefore, it is evident that breastfeeding is a more beneficial method of nourishing your infant or toddler. Humanity needs to work towards using our natural and available resources in order to promote the sustainability of our planet and the human race. Thank you.